I do most of my volunteer work with at-risk youth or juvenile delinquents. I do juvenile crime prevention where I go into the facilities such as Woodland Hills Youth Development Facility, juvenile justice program or centers, and I speak with the kids who are housed there about the struggle that exists of living incarcerated. And I speak from personal experience. I myself as a juvenile was incarcerated. Not only that was I incarcerated in the actual juvenile facilities that I go into, but I went from juvenile to prison at the age of 16 and ultimately spent the next 17 years in prison waiting to be released again. I was raised under an abusive father who was verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive toward my mother as well as me and all my siblings. I ended up joining a gang at the age of 14. I ended up getting into drug selling. I ended up getting into a violent way of life because I had been, as I tell people, I had been trained in the acts of violence. So I became a very high-ranking gang member here in Nashville, Tennessee. I ultimately went on to commit a murder at the age of 16. I decided to change my life and I began working with the same gang members that I was once affiliated with to try to better themselves. It allowed me to see there's an opportunity here now for me not only to try to repair some of the hurt that I've caused in my own community and others by helping these youth who are now actively hurting their communities and destroying their families, but it gave me an opportunity to do a work that is needed. And someone has to speak their language, and I know the language of the gang leader. I know the language of the drug dealer. I know the spirit. When I say language, I know the spirit. I know the hurt. I know the fears. I know the ambitions and the motivations and the intentions of these individuals because I used to be him. I have two brothers. One was murdered at the age of 17. The other one is in prison now for a murder conviction. I know these thoughts and these spirits, and I know this language intimately. So if someone needs to be there, then my motivation has been, and I can't think of a sophisticated or polished way to say this one, but my motivation has been this, that when God wants one of his people out of the pits of hell, he knows the person that knows hell well enough to go get them. And that's been me. So I go into the streets, I go into the gangs, I go into the prisons, I go into the jails, and I go into the juvenile facilities. I go into hell. When it's too dirty of a place for other volunteers or other people to go, I go there. And that's why I feel there's a need for me. And that's why I feel I'm most useful at. I'm right there in the bottom, in the streets, in the mud, where the people are suffering at, and I'm helping them find a way out.